Alex, good morning to you.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you
Yes, we
hear
can.
me?
So,
Oh,
yes, we can.
hallelujah. I've tried
Yes, it's
3 sets
wonderful to
of
have you.
headsets, you name it. Yes, thank
Um,
you.
but-
I caught the end of the last game.
so,
I thought Stephen is a totally different man.
yes, he's really his results have not reflected the standard of his play, but in that particular game, he also had a little injection of vigor, didn't he? And he was
Look,
taking
the,
on some big shots and doing some great jump shots too.
the game results haven't shown how well he's played, but don't forget, I think that as the loser, he's been 5 or 6 hoops in every game. You know, his net points
That's
would
right.
be really very good. No,
That's
and
right.
that when he took that last hoop 12 with his side style shot, um, it was a brilliant camera angle. Thank you, whoever took it. And there was absolutely no wavering, no quavering mentally or physically like there was yesterday for any tense shot. No, it was lovely to see. I wish him more success today.
Yep. Well, the next game will be quite important, of course, with Robert at the moment in a commanding lead in this competition. But I think that, as Alex points out, Stephen's confidence will be growing because of his great performance in the last game, and will present quite a challenge. So we'll and now, of course, Robert and Stephen are very well known to each other. They would have played for many years together at the very highest level, representing Australia, particularly in association croquet. Uh, Peter, do you, for those who are not familiar with the two different codes of golf croquet and association croquet, Stephen is predominantly an association croquet player. Do you think there are any particular things that you notice about the way that he approaches the game that you immediately recognise? Oh, he's playing like an association player.
Roqueting is much the same in both forms. You need to be able to hit another ball at a distance. And Stephen's very good at that. But other than that, I just haven't seen Stephen play very often. He came and played in a golf croquet doubles event at Cairnlea 2 or 3 years back, but that's the only time I can recall seeing him playing golf croquet. So he's doing really well to adapt and switch this weekend.
Yeah, it's an interesting switch up. Alex, do you? I mean, you've performed at the very highest level in both codes. Do you notice a difference in the immediately when you transition?
I notice a big difference between Stephen's demeanour on court and the other two, who, of course, Robbie plays any croquet and could play well with a brick on a stick. Lester plays only golf croquet and, has that very elegant style. I think that Stephen's indecision at tense moments in the game mark him as an AC player, where his stroke play is not able to provide him with a valid next stroke, a successful next stroke. You know, golf croquet really, you can only do 4 things. You can block, clear, run a hoop, or take position. So you have to make your shots do 2 or more of those things to be successful. And those few options lead to very limited tactical ability. And usually for tactics, you need to maneuver them through a sequence or 2 of balls. So when you're sensational at stroke play, and when I did well in golf croquet, I was at the technical peak of my ability. Great stroke play is going to beat great tactics 19 out of 20 times. So it'd be very interesting to see if, say, Chris Clark were here, who is a walking encyclopedia of GC tactics and sensational stroke play at all times. What would he make of these players who are actually relying on their stroke play? Lester in particular has fantastic long-range roquets, or clearances in this game. And Robbie, of course, when he's on, regardless of the code. So they're relying on that stroke play rather than tactical and deep positional ability. You know, what Stephen said, what Peter said recently about taking position and practicing taking position, which is in effect practicing block shots as well, which are the most superior of all defensive shots. You know, a little more of the block shots and positional expertise, and I think that these are, you know, that there's really good GC tactics happening. I'm sorry, that was long, but there we go.
No. I think I think we'd like to hear a little bit more from you on that topic, Alex, because I think the insight that you've got on stroke making ability versus tactical nous is something that's really worth exploring, and it would be extremely interesting to our listeners. We might have some highlights from the first game, because I know that both you and Peter were not able to catch that incredible display of strokemanship from Robbie.
I'll be watching it tonight.
He was just hitting every time he could see the hoop. He was just making it from whatever distance he fancied, and I think that would be a really nice sort of example of to lay on the table to support some of the things that you were saying.
It is what we all aspire to.
Yeah. So this is a replay of Leicester playing the yellow ball up to hoop 2, and we might be able to talk a little bit more with Peter in a moment about some hoop 11 tactics, because often with these games that are tied up at 5-all, what happens is you come down through the middle really makes the big difference, because and hoop 11 sets the sort of clock for that, so to speak. So hopefully there'll be an opportunity to look at some things that have happened around hoop 11 in some of the previous games, and we'll get Peter to comment a bit further on that. So hopefully the players will come out for the next game shortly, and in that time we can reflect on this fantastic venue, Cairnlea, which is just a place that I love to play at. I love to see people playing here. It's at the moment supported by a band of volunteers. Leicester is amongst them, Kevin Beard, of course. And they're doing a fantastic job of keeping the venue alive. And it really is one of the world's preeminent croquet venues. Alex, you love playing there?
At Kenley? I think the venue is magnificent, but I cannot bear the wind. You know, I bruise my legs and ankles constantly at Cairnlea.
Yes,
the wind,
it's
when you've got a
45-degree
long, a 45-inch mallet, the wind catches at any gust, and when you've got 50-kilometre gusts, very difficult to deal with. I'm not a good enough player to deal with it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Peter, you enjoy Kenley?
I do. I mean, the importance of having a 12-court venue is in terms of staging events is really, really important. It means you can put on a whole air cup or a whole interstate shield on the one location, because you've got 3 fixtures, each needing 4 lawns. And then if you're looking at a world championship, then starting with 12 already in one place is great. You only need another 8 or so. So Cairnlea's been really important for croquet in Australia.
And
playing
as Peter
there,
was saying,
like Alex. Yeah, well, as Alex says, playing here can be a real challenge. I've seen people lining up to hit a ball, and even as they're swinging, the ball just moves sideways because of the wind.
Yeah.
Can be very testing.
Actually, yes. Yesterday, I think Alex was saying that even the Indigenous Australians did not like this area. They didn't actually do very much in this area at all because it was so windy. Is that what you were saying yesterday,
A
Alex?
windswept plain, absolutely, yeah. I remember in 1980, I was working in Melbourne for a couple of weeks.
At the red ball, but put it clean through the hoop on the way. And I guess Stephen will tell me whether he was firing at that hoop or the ball at some point in the future. I'll probably hear it a few times.
Do you think he'll tell the truth on that one, Kevin? I mean, because he could have either been trying to clear the shot, he could have been trying to get an in off, or he could have been going for the hoop. And we'll see what story Stephen has to tell us when you're allowed to socialize again. You can. But of course, Stephen does have the advantage of the video evidence, so it's going to be there for the next 2 years.
It's there for all to see.
It is. So a great result, and so as Trish was saying, the rain can really affect things, but it seems to have gone away, and. You really do. If you get all 4 seasons in Melbourne, you get all 4 seasons in an hour in Cairnlea, and that's what we seem to be seeing now. The bright blue sky in the background, and maybe even that wind seems to have subsided a bit too. So we should get a really, really high quality match coming up. So hopefully the players will be out soon for this last game. But certainly been some brilliant action so far. Any particular highlights for you, Trish, in the tournament that you think are particularly noteworthy?
I always enjoy seeing Robert play. He has been playing since he was just a boy, and that makes a huge difference because his skills have been honed and it's quite natural. So his tactics are amazing. He's extremely clever, but the skills match the tactics. And I think that's the main thing with this game. You can't play better than your skills allow you, even if your tactics would say you should try something different. But you must have really good tactics as well, otherwise your skills are wasted. And I think Robert has an amazing combination of both. And I think that his experience nationally and internationally has meant that he's a very hardened competitor. So I always really enjoy watching him play because he very rarely makes an unforced error or even an error of any sort. So it's just really good to watch him, and knowing that he is a Victorian, that he's become a world champion and in both association and golf croquet. So yes, I just enjoy watching him. And of course he's been a teammate of mine as well, as has Kevin. And so yes, I do feel an affinity with him as a player.
Yes. No, as you were saying, it's always a delight to watch athletes at the top of their game, and really inspiring for the rest of us, not just to see his amazing technical skills, but also that incredible thought process and the vision that he has as well. And Kevin, it must have been very interesting for both you and Tricia to have seen Robert and his brothers come through the ranks, because of course you would have seen them come through as youngsters.
Absolutely. I remember the very first time I played Robert. I've probably never played him at golf croquet yet, but I played him many times at association croquet. He beat me when he was 13, first time, and he beat me 23 times before I beat him.
Wow!
And at that point, he wasn't quite the world champion, but he was world champion within a year of that.
And what viewers need to know is that Kevin has represented Australia at the highest level in all codes of croquet, and so for that to be a statistic is simply phenomenal. But look, we are on for the final game, and the blue and the red have both been played in, both in not particularly threatening positions, and Lester will play his black in now. So Tricia, just maybe this black in front of the hoop would be best.
Anything in front of the hoop is a really good idea, Gareth. But Robert will be depending on, Lester will be depending on blue being able to clear red, so black will be his runner. And blue, of course, can clear red a longer distance because blue is on the short side. Robert looking for a block, but not quite.
Okay, Lester has donned some heavier gear. He's not in his shorts anymore, and actually looking to take out the yellow.
He's opting to play the ball that's not next to play, assuming that red can't run the hoop.
Yeah. And Robert takes the black out of its hoop running position. So Kevin, is the black just going to come back into an attacking position here?
I think you'll put it a little bit deep, or that's what I would, because red is in such a great defensive position to clear it soon. And he's put it sort of halfway between short and long. I think that's okay. I quite like that one.
So in the first game today, remember Leicester going down 7-0 to Robert. So
what a lovely shot.
Looking for some revenge. Yes, what a brilliant shot. In front of the hoop and the line between the black and the hoop. Absolutely perfect.
Leicester's got no defence really with the red ball sitting there. Ooh. So I think he was obliged to move yellow if he could. Just unfortunately, he just to the right.
He's gone off to the right, and as Kevin was pointed out, that red is able to clear the black away.
Yep. One thing Leicester has in his favour here is that it's possible Robert will just cut it to the boundary there, but Robert will be trying to put it way over on the other side of the court if he can.
Oh,
and he was.
That's uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
Well,
he was trying for that cut, wasn't he?
Yes,
he was. As you pointed out, the black probably doesn't have a clear shot at the hoop, so really can only get the yellow. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe
he's going for the hoop for sure.
Oh, yes. Doesn't get through.
Oh, no.
No. Well, that looks like a jump, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Yep.
Well, you can see there's a bit of wind now. Look at those shorts flapping.
Yeah. Got a jump shot coming up from Robert. Oh, no, he hits the crown of the hoop. No, he disappointed with that, and not only does that fail to make the hoop, but it might give Leicester the opportunity to get the black up to the next hoop as well. Let's see. I can't remember where the red is. Can you remember, Trish?
It's straight back
behind four.
Yep.
All right. All right, we're going to see a jump shot here.
Mm.
We are. Oh! Well.
It was in the air when it went past the hoop. I think it wasn't a bad shot, but no cigar.
Calling the referee. Now it's very important here, and perhaps Kevin, you can explain why the mallet was in the air there.
Lester is calling the referee because there's a possibility of him doing a fault in this shot, which will be very disadvantageous to him. He could hit the ball, have the mallet touching the ball and the ball touching the hoop at the same time. That's not allowed. He has to hit away from the hoop. And he could also hit it into the hoop and it bounces back on his mallet. That would be a double tap on the ball. That's also a fault. So it's etiquette to get a referee to watch the ball closely and make the decision rather than you making the decision yourself.
Well,
now it looked to me as though in that shot he played it sort of slowly and cleanly, but it looked as though it must have hit the leg just after he'd hit the mallet and went off to the side a bit. As long as the ball wasn't touching the mallet and the hoop at the same time, it's clean, and that's what the referee has ruled.
Well, it's a great outcome for him. It's 1-0, and he's the first ball up at the next hoop. So a fantastic start for Leicester.
Yes, Leicester needed to have that shot watched because he really wanted to get black a long way. If he was just going to do a gentle shot, there was far less chance of a fault.
Well, in the dominant position at hoop 2-2. Robert, 21 yards away, shoots.
And clears.
What a wonderful shot. What a
good
wonderful
players,
response.
Yes.
How good is that? So far away.
You and Trish were talking before about Robert playing from a boy. So did Stephen Forster from a very young age. He reckons he was in the womb when he first went to a croquet court. But Leicester has come to the game quite late in life. He would have been in his 20s or so. Well, okay, is that late?
Is that?
But Leicester has advanced really quickly and is in fact an accomplished coach here in Victoria. And he's certainly improving the game with many players in Victoria at the moment.
And Robert was coached by Stephen for a long time. Both Robert and Greg and later Malcolm Fletcher all used to travel to coaching with Stephen. So they came from country Victoria.
Let's start with a chance of 2-0, which he takes. Oh, yes. The memories of that 7-0 game earlier this morning are very distant. 2-0.
Well, Robert needs really good position at this hoop.
Whack. Oh, he looks very happy with himself there, doesn't he? But as Trish said, Robert gets great position. Leicester shoots, misses. Strike one.
So he must have decided to shoot with both balls, Gareth. He wasn't doing the place and then shoot.
Yep. That's right. Well, he's going to have another one now. This is strike two. There it goes. Oh, and again, off to the right-hand side. Well, that gives Robert a good opportunity here, not just to make the hoop, but to get down to hoop 4 as well. Very quick
14-yard shots, 14-yard clearances from hoop 2 to hoop 3.
That's right. And that's a beautiful shot. No, it's just gone a little bit too far, 6 inches too far. Well, you'd rather be 4 yards short than 6 inches too far, wouldn't you?
It's a pretty commanding position, though, when another ball comes down. if it takes hoop position, red's in a good spot. It's not all bad.
You
I
could-
think they were talking yesterday about some of the Egyptian players don't worry at all if they go past the hoop because they'll clear from wherever they finish up.
Yeah.
You can see
Well,
that
that's a very
Leicester's
deep
left his
response.
ball. Yeah, Leicester's left it very short because he saw the red as being very threatening. Normally, he would have liked to get right in front if he could.
Well, enables Robert the luxury of being able to come in and lag. That seems okay for him. That black ball does seem very deep, though, Kevin. I mean, that seems very conservative.
I think it is very conservative, but remember, he played Robert when he was firing earlier in the day.
Yeah.
So he's just being a bit wary at this stage, I think, as I would be.
Just going to delicately take hoop position here. We know that there's a lot of curvature around this hoop. We've seen a few little wiggles, and particularly with the scarification. And Leicester sort of gets the yellow out of harm's way, but Trish, do you think the blue will be dispatched by the yellow now?
I don't know that he needs to. I think he could try and either block it or take another hoop position because black's a fair way away. I think he put red in there so that blue didn't have a hoop shot. And if black had missed yellow, then yellow was going to clear blue. But I don't know that he actually needs to clear it right now. But looks like he is lining up for that.
Yeah. Also, I suppose if you put the yellow in as a sort of blocker runner type thing, then it's better than it missing this shot and being all the way on the northern boundary.
But if you don't miss it, doesn't matter.
That's right. If you're Robert Fletcher, then you don't think, oh, I hope I don't miss.
Just giving blue a worse shot. I will see now if Leicester clears it, then nobody's near the hoop and we all start again.
Yeah, it was amazing to see how the yellow ball jumped, didn't it? After it hit the blue that time.
This looks like a jump.
Oh, it was a jump. No, it was nice. A nice each way bet there. You know, like I'll either clear or I'll pop over the red. Intriguing battle here at hole 4.
Yeah.
Is there a wired spot from blue at the moment?
Not quite sure where the blue is, but I think I think you're right. I think that's where he placed that ball. Oh no,
not quite.
No, the blue's got visibility of it.
Yeah.
I can see a pattern emerging in this game already, and I think it's based on both of their strengths. I don't think they're going to leave each other much of a shot at the hoop or even a jump at a hoop whenever they can avoid it. And I think that's why Robert tried to clear the blue ball. He didn't want Leicester to have a go at a jump over the red. And if he put a block in, well, it was just enticing him to actually have a go at the jump. So they're both good jumpers, really.
Oh, unlucky Leicester. He just didn't get enough of the red ball, and it was the blue ball that has skidded off to the western boundary and left Robert with a regulation clearance, which should put both of his balls in front of the hoop. Ooh, and the red almost sneaking in. So Robert now dominating the territory in front of hoop 4. Leicester looking to see whether Robert can make that hoop.
It is so important for you to be able to assess what your opponent can do, isn't it? You'll often see a player go and look at an opponent ball deciding whether or not they need to move it.
And Trish, is that a ball that you would think is threatening the hoop there, or were you thinking, oh no, I don't think Robert would take that on?
Well, I'm not Lester, but I would have thought Robert will take that on.
I think it'll
Looks like
depend on
Leicester's
what Lester
decided.
does. And so Lester can influence Robert's choice, I think. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I'd have been tempted to let him have a go at it in a way. And try and be on the the right hand side of the hoop, so that you were still around. Oh well.
Well, that answers the question.
Put that down to 0-4 for me.
That is incredible. I mean, I mean, to anybody that doesn't play croquet and looks at that and thinks, "Oh, that looks easy," I can assure you that's not easy. These hoops are set to within, a piece of paper thickness, wider than the ball, and they're really strongly driven into the ground. They're very, very, very difficult, and to do that from an angle is sensational.
It was special.
Very special. Incredible to have that on tape. Just amazing, an amazing privilege for us to be able to see that again and again. Well, 2-all. And that's a nice shot. Threatening, and the blue is in a position where it might be able to clear the red away. Ooh, nearly a wiggle there. Okay, so an important shot coming up. Where does this need to go?
Far away.
It has to hit the red. I think I'd be trying to hit it in the centre of the ball, and I'd take whatever I got. That's better than the centre of the ball. That's fine. But it must hit the red.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Robert was playing so audaciously in the first game. He was actually going for the hoop in these positions, but on this particular occasion, he looks like he's going for the black.
What a shot.
And
Lovely.
Gets enough.
Yep.
Wow. Not quite far enough, unfortunately. Lester making a decision. Am I going to hit it, or am I going to hole up? What am I doing?
I think he's getting it on a wide position, so yellow can't hit him.
Yes, no swing from yellow.
Yeah, it's nice. So Robert does not have a shot at the black because the hoop is in the way of his backswing. And wherever he
also
goes,
means
black.
He can't get it in the jaws either. Well, Lester wouldn't have played that shot.
So he goes out a little bit deeper. And this will give blue a chance to come in. Oh, yes.
So later, when black hits yellow, it can still only go to that south boundary.
Yes. Well, Robert looks as if he wants to clear the blue here.
No, don't know about that. I think it's just coming in because yellow would only be on the south boundary.
Yep.
I don't think Robert will like that shot because this gives Lester, if he plays a really good shot, to put yellow on the border and hide the blue from the yellow. With the red ball sitting there. It hasn't happened, so Lester wasn't able to take advantage of that deep red ball.
Yes,
This
by
is
putting
when the
another ball
position
down there. Yeah. Well, it's a
This
very
is when
interesting
the
situation.
position where the ball went out is important. Notice both players move towards it to agree the position.
Ooh, big moment in the competition. Big moment. Leicester in front of the hoop. Chance to tickle it up to hoop 6 too. Oh, he dribbles through. Well, he takes a 3-2 lead, but it could have been even more advantageous for him. But Robert gets the first shot up to hoop 6.
It's a very uncomfortable spot for Leicester. Hasn't got enough backswing, and Robert can hide behind the peg with his red ball in front of 6.
Did Robert run into the peg?
He must have done.
Yes, you're right. Well, that's a little bit of a let off for Leicester, but still only 7 yards away from the hoop, and we've been seeing the players considering those to be hoop running shots. Now, as Tricia was observing earlier, Leicester's blue ball is a little bit just in front of the hoop 5 and hampering Leicester's shot. So let's see what he can do to extract it from that position and try and gain some position. Sort of melding himself with hoop 5 there. Oh, good shot. What a great shot from that position, eh?
It was a good shot.
Really hampered, he had 1 foot in the jaws of the hoop, and he's managed to get the ball up there to clear the red. The red's now got about 9 or 10 yards to go for the black, but not a formality. And he does it beautifully.
Lovely shot. That was a great shot.
Wonderful.
And you were saying, Gareth, that 7 yards was quite normal for a hoop. In these guys would have done a practice routine, 7-yard hoops over and over and over.
Well, pressure back on now, Leicester, because this is a long clearance. Look at that view. That yellow ball looks like a little spot in the distance.
Well, if he misses, he could go through the hoop.
He could go. Oh!
Almost.
Wow. So close. Well, if Robert goes through, of course, the black ball will be offside. And we'll be seeing it return to this eastern end of the court. But let's see if Robert goes through first, which he does. 3-all in this crucial final game.
I will expect to see black in the penalty spot over towards hoop 3, that side of the court.
That's right. Well, Leicester coming very deep, almost just traversing along the northern boundary there. That's an incredible shot. Quite risky in a sense. He could have easily gone out at a little bit prematurely, but he's played it beautifully to that position on the line of hoops 1 and 2. And Robert will come in a little bit tighter. Yeah. Well, as Trish was saying, the players adept at the 7 yard. They would practice that a lot, and that's currently what Lester is looking at with that blue ball. As long as he doesn't block himself with the black, which he has no danger of doing. So, Kevin, what does the yellow do now? Does it worry about the blue?
I think because he's put it so, because he's put it so deep, even if yellow hit blue, if he doesn't hit a dead centre, it could go out just 2 or 3 feet away, and so he'd effectively waste a shot. I think he would have been really trying to block blue from running the hoop there. I think it was a case of there was not enough payoff for hitting blue, and as a consequence, he hasn't got the block. So Lester does get a free shot at the hoop. But watching Robert back on hoop 4, maybe if Lester doesn't get it, maybe the red can make it. Oh, bad luck, Lester.
Well, the bounce back might have stopped red from having a direct shot.
It has, yes.
No, that's a little bit of a let-off for Lester there, because the blue ball could have ricocheted anywhere, and it's actually ricocheted onto the line between the hoop and the red.
Yep. I thought it was good play from Lester because it meant he got a shot at a hoop. He didn't get many shots at hoop in his previous game with Robert. So that's what his aim was, to make sure he got a shot at the hoop.
Yeah.
That was a nicely measured shot, wasn't it? Wanted to keep the red close to the hoop, and when they're on a cut like that, if he hits blue further away, red goes further away as well.
Well, we know that Robert can make a hoop with that yellow, even though it's angled. So presumably Lester needs to take that out. But he was thinking about it. And he doesn't need to think about it anymore.
There is an opportunity for Robert to hide yellow from the blue now.
Yep.
And looks like he's achieved it, doesn't it? Oh, yes.
And that is hidden. That is very definitely hidden.
Robert's not waiting for Lester to put blue in, so he's not looking for a block. He's just going to put in another runner. No.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Presumably that red isn't interfering with Robert's stance around the yellow. Oh, Lester! He gave that a real clonk, but it didn't. It whistled past the yellow, but didn't trouble it. So let's see how hampered Robert is by his own red ball. He played a lovely shot earlier where he was straddling, but no need. He's not really hampered at all, is he? And maybe just hampered enough. Now, do you think that there's a shot on the hoop here? I don't think there is.
It looks like the cameraman's left well placed. Whoops.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Oh, Lester tries a jump. That missed by quite a long way. Can you remember where the black is?
It's on an angle from the boundary, but I think Robert's looking to hide from it. and to give yellow a chance at the hoop.
And in hiding from it, he doesn't want to stop his trajectory down to hoop 8 afterwards, does he?
Mm.
Oh, I think it's gone too far. I think what Robert was trying to avoid was black clearing both balls at once, but the red ball kept going then. So Leicester does have a chance to redeem himself at this hoop.
Yeah, we can see some scattering here, which will make for exciting visuals. Here we go. Oh, well, there was some scatter, but more of a nudge. And that's opened things up now for Robert. And might have even put the red out onto a nice position too.
Can anybody remember, is blue legal in its new position? Did it hit one of Robert's balls, or was it a clean miss?
A clean miss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Robert with a chance of 4-3 and to get down to hoop. Oh, interesting. Explain that one.
I can't explain it. No, he must think that blue hit another ball, or I'm wrong and it did.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants Leicester to be playing the blue ball from up behind hoop 2. Sorry, what is it? Yeah. Yeah, no, very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Blue must have been a legal ball, and he's very, very confident of making this with red.
Gareth, it gave him an opportunity to put yellow much closer to the halfway line.
Yes.
So that maybe he saw enough advantage in that. I think I'd have been tempted to run the hoop with yellow when I had the chance. I'm pretty sure that blue was an offside ball once he ran the hoop with any ball.
Yeah. Yes, a very interesting little choice of tactics there. It'd be great to talk about that later on. There's a few little tips there for croquet players wanting to improve their strategies. And now is a great time with people like...
So Robert's placing with yellow, planning to clear with red, and blue doesn't have a great shot on red or yellow. So it's interesting little manoeuvres. Oh, well, they're just keeping us guessing, I think.
Yes, if Robert had played like I'd suggested that I thought he would, ran the hoop with the yellow ball, then Leicester's shot then would have been from over the far side of the court.
Yes.
Because he was offside. But this seems more
Robert's
interesting.
managed to retain position near the hoop now, so he's got 2 balls closer to the hoop than either of Leicester's. I suppose that's the first step. That's what you want.
Yes.
Oh, nothing in front of the hoop at the moment, so the gates open. Very interesting tactical choice from Lester there, just coming to a patrolling position. So, Kevin, a very, very interesting choice from Lester playing that black.
Yes, I thought it was a reasonable option. Robert's done his assessment and put yellow quite close to the hoop. So Robert will now try, I believe, and clear black. And he's got probably a reasonably wide area on the border that will be where black could go and be wide from yellow. So he'll be aiming for the centre of that spot.
Right in the centre.
Oh, but I think it might still be open.
So he's certainly made great contact, but as Kevin said, it might have just needed a slight cut in order to make the yellow invisible.
So now the two of them are down to their skills. If Lester can clear this yellow a long way, he's in favour. And if he can't,
oh dear,
then probably Robert's in favour of winning the hoop.
Yeah, that was as Kevin said, that was all down to the shooting ability there. And Robert might well take a 5-3 lead here. Yeah.
You see the little movement of the hoop as the ball goes through. It's why they're having to tighten them up at the end of each game.
Yes. Yep. All right. Lester with a little bit of work to do now. At least he's first into the next hoop. Very important to get this shot nice. Ooh, that's long. Robert looking to play this quite deep. And it is deep, and it's in a running position for him.
And also very difficult for Leicester to clear with the blue.
Yeah, no clearing opportunities there. Would need an incredible cut.
Yep.
But that might block it. Not quite.
Yep.
Wind a nice steady 20 knots according to my weather app at Cairnlea. You could really hear it whistling around the players as Leicester has a difficult shot now to try and get the black far away, the red far away. Oh, wrong side. And I think we can expect the black to go for a bit of a walk here.
Yep.
And red to stay close to the hoop.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Trisha calls it. Absolutely
And
perfect stone shot.
Yeah.
Robert with the territory in front of hoop 9 now. What do you think the discussion is about there, Trish?
I think it's about where the ball would have gone out. Robert's just adjusted the position.
Lester may have had his head in the air as it flew past.
Well, Lester really got to do something, pull something special out of the hat now. 5-3 down. Robert commanding the territory in front of hoop 9. And possibly with a shot now. It's tight angle, but we've seen him make these very tight. Surely at the very limits. Oh, what a delicious shot. What a fantastic shot. Well, what can you do? Any slight nudge on that yellow will put it through. Oh. Was he looking to try and clip off the red there, do you think?
He was trying to clear red away. Unfortunately,
Clear red
the
away.
whole ball.
Yeah.
So because he didn't particularly want red to, to be able to knock black away.
No. Oh. Well, that's such a strong position for Robert now because the ball is almost through the hoop. It's going to be impossible to extricate. And not only that, he's going to have the perfect shot up to hoop 10. So this is really, really, really tricky for Lester now.
I think he'll go to halfway and try and stop yellow's path.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going pretty hard. Is he going to stop with...
Oh, is it over the line? Is it over the
I don't
line?
know. I think it's perfect. I'll put my hand up and say that's not offside.
Okay.
I'm going for 1 out of 5.
Robert's able to get a nice lag. Let's have a look at the offsideness of that black ball. Robert looking at it keenly. And Lester is going to have to move it. Yep.
Okay, I've got 0 out of 5.
Off he goes. And Lester off to the naughty square over on the western side, and Kevin also off to the naughty square for being 0 from 5 at his All right. 3-6 down. Need something special. Yep, shooting for the hoop. Oh, bad luck. Well, I think he needed to do something special there. The yellows commanding the territory. That was, yeah, it was desperation stuff, but almost inevitable.
Sometimes they pay off.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how close those two red and yellow balls are, but might form a double target for the black.
So it's 20 yards, 21 yards, I think, across from there.
That's right.
He does have the option of placing the ball anywhere within that semicircle, so he might be able to create a better target legally. No.
Okay. Well, let's
decided that it's decided it's not necessary to shoot, but that didn't work.
And this for the championship then.
That's right.
slightly distracted
wind
by the
gets up.
wind.
Mm.
Wow. Here he goes. Oh, just clangs into the hoop. Slight reprieve for Leicester. Both the blue ball and the black ball are patrolling. Not over yet. Priority here, Kevin. Stop that red from having a shot.
If you can see red, I believe he needs to move it from that position. I don't believe blocking would be worth it. Even if he got the perfect block, Robert, I think, would have a go at jumping, given he's only got to make one more hoop to win the game, I guess, in the tournament.
Yep.
Okay, I'd say he was blocked. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so second match point. The wind again, whistling through Robert's shorts. Concentration 100%. Oh no! Turns away again. Leicester still in it.
Well, it's a chance to turn it around here because black can stay.
Yeah, black can stay there. Nice stun shot. Not bad. It's still in the vicinity. Red's away. Okay, black now patrolling. Yellow's got to think about where it comes in. Well, what a turnaround. 2 shots of eminently makeable distance.
I don't think there's anywhere for Robert to go particularly. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a go at the hoop.
No.
It looks like that, doesn't it?
It looks like it. Looks like it. Shoots. He makes it! What a way to win the championship! Oh my word!
Wow, I got
Kevin
1 out of
calls
6.
it perfectly. No,
Well done,
1
Kevin.
out of 6. No, you can cancel that out, Kevin, because that was a big call. that can be 5 points you get for that one.
Okay.
Wow,
beautiful.
look at the top spin on there. Brilliant. Well played. What a fantastic competition. And well played, Robert. What a great way to seal victory. And a fantastic spectacle of croquet for the weekend. And sometimes, when you don't have any other good options, you see the hoop, you go for it. How many yards would that shot have been, do you think?
More than 10.
More than 10.
Yep.
Well, here we go. And the top spin takes it.
Ironic, isn't it? That the 2 to 3 yards, he had 2 shots and didn't get through, but from that distance he does. It's just no explaining that. Well, there's Stephen come down to congratulate them.
Well, it's been a great tournament between these 3 fantastic players, some world-class croquet on display. Really, really fantastic. And Claire there, the referee, only been called out a few times, but some crucial decisions to make. It's an early replay. So thinking long and hard about this. This is where Claire comes out to adjudicate. Remember, what Leicester really wanted to do was to get the black ball all the way up to hoop number 2. But as Kevin explained to us at the time, there was a danger of a crush shot being played. And that's a shot where the mallet and the ball and the hoop leg are all in contact with each other at the same time. So it turns out that it's quite a difficult shot. You need quite a lot of precision. It played a beautiful smooth swing and no fault, and off the ball went to put the black into perfect position for making hoop 2. And one interesting thing that one viewer has pointed out was that after that strong start by Leicester, Robert was very effective at getting Leicester to change his game a little bit. So Robert applied the pressure, and Leicester started playing a little bit differently. Would you agree with that, Trish? That Robert managed to engineer that?
I think he was pushing Leicester to constantly have to make long clearances. And I mean, he's a master at tactics, Robert. I mean, Leicester's no slouch either, but I think Robert has the experience as well to be able to read the opponent and read the conditions and decide what would actually give him the competitive edge, which can just be a small amount given that they both have enormous skills. But yes, there was a bit of a switch around there. And when you're 2-love down, I think you have to think, okay, what can I do differently?
I agree. I think Robert was really making it difficult for Leicester by clearing him whenever he could. There were times where it was a 50-50, which was the correct call, but generally he chose to clear him, to get him well away from the hoop area, or the area where the rest of the balls were, and that did make it pretty hard for Leicester. But I thought Leicester adapted, not too badly, by being a bit, his way to adapt was to be a bit further away, so it wasn't attractive for Robert to remove him. But Robert was playing just so well that he was able to do it most of the time anyway.
So we should be lucky enough soon to have the opportunity to speak to the players. So I hope that Kevin and Trish, you've got some interesting things to chat to them about. They should be up in the commentary booth shortly. We've had the opportunity to hear of a few extra things about croquet this weekend. Greg Berry was on earlier telling us about the Croquet Academy and the great work that they do to develop the game of croquet in Australia. The program that they've got both for individuals and for clubs. And Greg earlier was showing us the Croquet magazine, which is available for download. Kevin, you're someone that contributes a lot to the maintenance of this fantastic facility that we've been looking at. Can you tell us something about Cairnlea, the venue, how long it's been there, and what opportunity it provides to host international events?
Okay. The event, I think, was pretty much finished in about 2006. We had hoped to have what's called the McRobertson Shield, which is the premier association croquet event between 4 nations at the venue in 2006, but it wasn't quite finished. We only had 3 courts of the 12 operating. And so, well, where do we start? But it's been used. It's been very valuable for Victorian events. We've filled the place a few times with Victorian state championships and other events with sort of just above club level events. The event that's probably best known for Kenley is the President's Eights, which is the Australian Croquet Association president has an event named after them, effectively, with the top 8 players in each category, for each association croquet and golf croquet, and we can fill the place with the top 32 players, I guess, 4 lots of the 8, and that's a very prestigious event being held here. There's been several world championships now. The World Golf Croquet Women's, I think, might have been the first one that Alex Verge won. And we've had a World Association Croquet tournament here, and the most recent one was the World Golf Croquet Tournament back in early 2020, just before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing thing to have a venue with 12 lawns, isn't it? Because if you have like 2 games on each lawn, which actually is interesting. Our viewers haven't seen double banked games yet. In other words, 2 games on a lawn. But the ability to have all of those players playing, it's an amazing sight. And Tricia, you would have played here many times and seen it at its full capacity.
Yes, I have. And one of the greatest events that we've had here is the interstate matches, where we have competitors from six states in team events. And that means that both association croquet and golf croquet interstate matches can be played all at the one venue. So when it's Victoria's turn to host, and the hosting is rotated around all states, when it's Victoria's turn to host, all of the players are here at the one venue, which is a terrific experience. Whereas when we travel somewhere else, we spend a lot of time in the car going to different host clubs. So it's been really good for Victoria to have that. And of course, we host a great number of Australian Croquet Association events here as well. The Australian Open for Association Croquet and for Golf Croquet is quite often held here. And we've really missed the exposure to those events over the last 2 years during the pandemic. So it's been wonderful to actually see croquet being played here again. And that's largely due to the efforts of the volunteers, and Kevin's one of them. He's often here doing the lines or cutting the grass. Lester's another one who does a huge amount of work coordinating the volunteers and cutting the grass. We have been reduced to volunteers just because of the huge expense of maintaining such a big venue using paid employees. But people in Victoria, croquet players in Victoria, do value it and appreciate their efforts.
Yes, no, it's a brilliant venue, and it's incredibly appreciated how people like Kevin and indeed Lester, who obviously is one of the players today, have contributed to the upkeep and the energy of Cairnlea. It really is a wonderful experience to be able to play there. And I think, Trish, you really highlighted it at its peak when you were able to run a very large event and have all of the state players there, and that amazing atmosphere. If you look back at when Alex Verge won the Women's World Championships, and you look at the crowd scenes as well, they were sensational to see how many people there were watching the game live, and not just the capacity for the number of players, but for the spectators as well. So a brilliant thing for croquet to have, and we're all very, very grateful. And great venue for the TV coverage as well. The fact that there is a grandstand and you can see down and so many angles. So all told, an amazing thing. And we're hoping that we'll get the presentation shortly. But Kevin, while we're waiting for that, you were going to say?
We do have an event coming up next year in November. The McRobertson Shield that I spoke of earlier is going to be held at Kenley, providing we can manage it under the COVID conditions. So hopefully we'll have the top 4 countries coming, England, New Zealand, the USA and Australia, and we can hold the whole event here. So that's something to look forward to, and we are hoping, if we can keep our association with KO, to have the final series of test matches, or the final round of the test matches, televised by KO.
Yes, well, that's croquet at the very highest level. International croquet players from around the world, the very best. What a spectacle that is. Well, we'll have the presentation shortly, and just a recap on the results of the competition. Robert Fletcher came out victorious. He had to win the last game against Leicester to ensure that. And although Stephen just won the one game, that hides the fact that he was incredibly competitive and played some of the shots that will make the highlights reel for many years to come. So it'll certainly be good to reflect on some of those things. The competition, the Owen Edwards Golf Croquet Challenge, this is something that will be a fixture of the croquet calendar for many years to come. There's a magnificent trophy already. There is one side of the trophy is taken up with plaques that will see us through for the next decade or so, I believe. And Kevin, I guess another chance to recognise the contributions of Owen Edwards to the game. You were talking earlier about not only his love of golf croquet, his championing of the sport, his instruction of referees, his ability to nurture the game. The game of golf croquet, when it started, I suppose would have been taking a back seat to association croquet, and there must have been some resistance to its promulgation. Do you think that's fair to say?
Well, when it very first started, I didn't think there was very much resistance to it. At that time, and I guess it's still reasonably true, that people at retirement look for a game they can play with some getting outside, moving around, being mobile, and golf croquet was promoted then as being something that was easy to learn, and you could basically start a game up within half an hour of being on the court. And also it was an opportunity for clubs to get more players to join their club and to help them survive financially. But and so it didn't take very long to get a bit of a base going. And now I guess there's some clubs have embraced golf croquet and maintained their association croquet. Some clubs are even called mallet sports clubs in my area, who are playing gate ball as well. But there certainly are some clubs around that are mainly golf croquet and mainly association croquet, or mainly association croquet.
Right.
But certainly it's got more people on the lawn. I think we're ready for the presentation, so I'll just hand over to the organisers. Kate and Ian, please.
Welcome to the presentations for the Owen Edwards Golf Croquet Challenge. I would like to start by thanking all of the players and Claire for refereeing, and all of the KO staff who've made themselves available this weekend to enable this tournament to happen. It's fabulous for croquet. I'm hoping people who've watched KO have enjoyed the opportunity to get back to croquet, and we can't thank you all enough. Thank you for joining us and for playing in such great spirit. We've been very lucky with the weather. To do the presentations, double thank you to Stephen Forster for taking part in the tournament, but I will now hand over to him to do the presentations in his capacity as the Vice President of the VCA. Hang on, just give...
Thank you very much, Kate. I'd like to thank Live Sport Live for being able to hold this on KO as well, so thank you very much for doing that. And congratulations, Robbie. I'd just like to have a little bit of a say about Owen Edwards so everyone understands what or who Owen is. At the meeting, Owen was described as a croquet legend, as a player and ambassador for croquet, a referee, and renowned expert on the laws of association croquet and the rules of golf croquet. Owen has been playing croquet for over 30 years, since taking up the game in 1984. As a golf croquet player, Owen has won both the Victorian GC Open Singles and the Australian GC Open Singles 3 times. Represented Victoria in the GC Interstate Shield competition, including captaining the team which won the inaugural event. Represented Australia 4 times as a player in the WCF World GC Croquet Singles Championships. So he's done a bit. As an ambassador for croquet, Owen introduced many clubs to golf croquet. He led Croquet Victoria's publicity efforts for over 10 years, including acting as promotion officer in 1992 to 1995 and chairing the VCA promotion committee for 6 years after that. Notably, Owen's work as a referee and rules expert has had an abiding impact. He trained and examined many referees, worked to raise the standard of refereeing in Victoria, responding to questions and writing articles to clarify difficult points. Wrote manuals for GC and AC referees along with other guides and resources for intending referees, many of still in use. Devised new methods of displaying and determining faults in GC, acting as tournament referee at many events, clubs, state, national and international, and was the ACA National Director of Refereeing AC and GC from 1996 to 2010. Owen is the 5th life member of Croquet Victoria following Valerie Hasloff, Shirley Hallinan, Bill Keddy, who is deceased, and Brian Reither. When he heard he had been awarded the life membership, Owen wrote, "Thank you for your notification of my election as life member of Croquet Victoria. I was surprised and delighted to be granted this award, which I consider to be a great honour." Owen was presented with his life membership certificate and the badge at the annual meeting of the Eastern Metropolitan Croquet Association on Friday the 28th of July. So that's Owen if no one knew about Owen. So he's been around and he's done a lot for croquet. So thank you, Owen. So I think I need to bring Robbie over. So I'll stand this side. Congratulations, Robbie. You were fantastic. I really enjoyed playing this tournament against you and also against Leicester, and thank you, Leicester, for doing it as well. Much appreciated. With that game against Leicester this morning, you were just really fantastic. Thank goodness it was against me. All right, congratulations. This is for you. You take that home and get your name engraved on it, and we wish to have you back next year to defend the title. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, sure. Thanks very much, Steve. Yeah, thanks to Ian and Kate for doing a great job of managing the tournament in trying circumstances. Big thanks to Stephen and to Leicester for playing in the tournament and making the tournament, and also for all the work you guys have done with maintaining the lawns, which are in great condition. and yeah, a pleasure to play on. And yeah, notably the lines, I think, are probably in the best condition I've seen them here at this tournament, at this venue. So well done, Lester. Apart from that, thanks very much to KO for doing the broadcast, and to Kate for organising it. And I had a great time. It's really good to be back on the lawns. It's been a few months since I've been able to play any croquet. So it was a real pleasure to be out here and play you guys. And I think with I matched the match this morning, and then getting run over by Stephen. Well, hopefully you're going to play some tournaments soon, so that you can get a world ranking and don't smash mine so badly next time. Yeah. No, thank you. But apart from that, thanks to everyone else. If I've missed anyone who's done the organising, and it was great. Thanks.
Do you want to take it? Yeah, lift it up and take a photo with Kate. Yep. All right. So I think that concludes our Owen Edwards Golf Croquet tournament. So thank you everyone who has been watching. I hope you've really enjoyed it. Some information that we've come back from the guys that everyone's just loving it, the commentators, and especially for those commentators who aren't here but they're doing it from their own house. We really appreciate the time that you've spent commentating on our fantastic matches. Thank you very much.
And just finally, a shout out to My Sport Live, who were the technical crew who did all the filming and made the day look so good, and all the replays so very interesting.
Thank you.
I dropped a couple of padlocks off down the back of the bin.
Okay, so that was the presentation ceremony there. Robert Fletcher claiming the inaugural Owen Edwards Golf Croquet Challenge Trophy, a very fine trophy it was too. And it was great to see the organisers of the whole event, Kate and Ian, and also Kate Patrick being acknowledged as they were. We hope to bring you a few highlights of the games for the last 10 minutes, if that's possible. But otherwise, I'll just reiterate everything that was said in the closing ceremony there. I think Stephen is popping up for an interview, and we hope to have him with a set of headphones on in a moment. I'm not sure whether Kevin and Trish are still with us.
I'm here, Gareth.
Kevin is here.
One thing that probably should be said also is that in 2 weeks' time, on the weekend of the 23rd and 24th of October, we hope to run a similar event for Association Croquet. It's going to be called the Brian Reither Challenge. And Brian is also a life member of Croquet Victoria and an elder, mainly known for his tournament management. And he, in fact, will will manage this tournament. I can see Stephen on the screen, so I'll
Yes, there I am,
let you
guys.
Absolutely. Yep,
Hello.
and that will be an intriguing possibility. So, hello, Stephen.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good. Well,
Can you hear me?
thank you very much for yes, and thank you for all the entertainment that you've given us over the weekend. You've done some spectacular shots, but I think that the most impressive thing about your performance so far has been the dancing, which we all enjoyed after that sensational jump shot in your opening game. Is this a dance that might catch on, do you think?
Oh, look, I think I could start a trend, but mostly not. No, it's just when you play a good shot. When you play good shot in golf croquet or any croquet, it's like, yeah, the dance, but you must maintain focus. But I really enjoyed it because it's not a shot that I normally play, so it was well out of my comfort zone. Let's just hit over and see what happens, really. But I meant
That's right.
Yes.
So we were obviously particularly glad that you got Robbie's scalp in the penultimate game for several reasons. It was only what you deserved after some brilliant performances, which unfortunately it didn't go the way they might. Oh, here's the dance. There's the brilliant shot, punch in the air. And then a sort of I don't know, what would you call that? It's a it's a jig. Let's call it a jig.
Yeah, a jig with, I can't believe it actually worked. I went to work, but I don't know if everyone knows, but I've actually torn my intercostal muscles on my rib cage on the left hand side from doing gardening the other weekend. So
yes,
I've been playing in a bit of pain as well.
Yeah, no, Rosie Landry, one of the commentators, was telling us that. Stephen, one of the questions I wanted to ask you was, obviously, you've played association croquet at the highest possible level, and you'd be very, very used to making high pressure, sort of 14-yard roquets. What's the difference in pressure, do you think, when you're trying to make a clearance of that nature in golf croquet? How does it differ between the two codes?
For me, it differs hugely because in AC, all you have to do is just rotate the ball and you play on. Whereas in GC, clearing it to be far enough away for the opponent not to be able to hit you. So I haven't really got that strength like Lester and Robbie have. So I do struggle in that department. But I was just happy to be able to hit the ball onto a ball because really not being playing for so long, swinging the mallet, I felt really good to be out there for the last 2 days. So it was really just getting back in the swing of thing and improving my roquet strokes, really.
Yeah. Well, one of the pivotal moments in the match was early on yesterday when you had a lot of decision making to make around hoop 12, and yes, you're in several minds. Do you think that playing against people like Lester and Robbie that are card carrying GC players, do you think that there were occasions where they had a slight advantage over you because you're not thinking like a GC player in the same way?
Oh, definitely. There was 3 things going through my head. Do I run this hoop? Do I hit the ball away, Robbie's ball away, or do I just lay here? And all those 3 things were going round and round in my head. Do I try and lob in the middle? I didn't know what to do. I will be, truthful about that because I haven't got the experience. But it wasn't until I watched the replay last night and Alex says she would have been hitting blue away and ricocheting up to I'm going to say 4 back, but up to hoop 13. And I went, oh, God, yeah, that's right. Because I said that to Robbie when he actually did that to me beforehand. I went, oh, I know what you're doing. You're getting up there early. He said, yeah. So it didn't click even then for me, but I had a plan that I wanted to hit my ball through the hoop. So then my next shot with the ball that just ran the hoop to rush it up to hoop 13. So I was going to be up there with the second shot or the first shot of that ball that was up there. So there is a lot of tactical moves that I don't understand.
Yeah, so that's right. Then, Kevin?
Stephen, it's Kevin here. I've got a question for you.
Yes,
In the last game, I think the scores might have been 5-all, and Robert was directly in front of hoop 11, and he cleared your other ball right to the border, and you had a shot at the ball or the hoop. What were you firing at?
Oh, Kevin, it went through the hoop. Definitely the hoop. No, I will say that I was hitting at red in hope that to remove red, but also to maybe get an in off. So that was my plan. So I know a little bit about in offs, but truthfully, it actually, come off the mallet not quite sweet, but it looked really sweet when it went through the hoop. So I just went, okay, I'll just take that, and you go, when you miss hit sometimes and it works. That's what happened.
It wasn't a miss-hit at all, Stephen. It was for croquet players. It was a Levick double, where you aim for one, and if you get the other, you just accept it, and it's part of the game. So well done.
Well,
I was very impressed with
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I have a question, Stephen. Trish here. I want to know if you're going over. Are you going over to the dark side now? Have you got a taste for it?
Oh, Trish, I really enjoyed playing this against the two boys because it was quick. Oh, there it is. There we go. Because it was really nice and quick, and there was no, apart from me probably diddly-daddling, as Rosie called it at one stage, that in my decisions. But I enjoyed it because, as I said earlier, being able to swing the mallet. I don't know if I'll make the big team or anything like that, just having a bit of a hit and dabbling around, just trying to improve my single ball shots ready for AC. We'll see what happens, but whether it turn into a state team part of it, there's a long way to go for that.
It does look like you were having fun, and it was actually noticeable that you were showing some emotion with some of your shots that went well or sometimes didn't go well, which is not something we see when you're playing association. You are absolutely Mr. Cool.
Oh yeah, I tried to keep it in a little bit, but just sometimes it was just so frustrating when it didn't go in the right direction. You go, oh God, I can't hit this ball away far enough compared to how they were smacking me from one side of the lawn to the other. So it's just had to get out there and do your best. And look, I will say I did enjoy it because it was fun. And hopefully next year, if I get the chance, I might come back again and see if I get hit right.
You did look like you enjoyed it and had fun, and you did well. Thank you for giving us a good spectacle.
No worries. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. So, Greg, you wanted to jump in? No, Greg. well,
Greg.
That's. I think Greg was going to. Greg said he was ready to pop in with something, but he must have a little technical hitch there. No audio from Greg, unfortunately. Yes. So yeah, that'd be fantastic to see you again in this competition next year, Stephen, and hopefully we'll be able to provide the commentary again. Maybe actually being at Cairnlea, it's I'm sure a lot of the viewers realise that we're actually commentating remotely, which is quite challenging because we're the team are sort of split thousands of miles apart and not able to see each other. So if we make the occasional talking over the top of each other, it's reasonably understandable. Kenley, a bit windy today, Stephen.
It wasn't as windy as normal. It did get up a little bit, but it was just, as most of us would call it, just a gentle breeze compared to what we do have here. So I will say something, guys, just to help you out, that your comments from yesterday's games that you went, oh, he's gone side style, he's gone centre style. I will say that I shoot, when I'm playing AC, when I'm shooting, I play centre style because I feel more comfortable in striking the ball compared to side style, especially being in windy conditions. But I changed that style back in 2016 just to hit in I have no control over it. So when I was trying to do any roquets, was clearing the ball with centre style, but when I was trying to touch stuff as in run hoops from when I was close, I went back to my normal position and stance. So I just want to let you know that it's only when I'm shooting that I'll be doing it with centre style with the Solomon grip. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see that. It was great to be able to speculate with the other commentators as to what your thought process was there. Tell us about the side style, because is it a style that you sometimes recommend for new players to take up?
No, if I'm coaching people, I'll coach them centre style. But
Right.
if they're playing AC players, if they find it very difficult to get strength to strike balls up the lawn, I'll suggest that they have a go at side styles, because they might find it a little bit easier to get the energy to strike the balls. And there have been players that have turned over and gone, oh my goodness, I felt so much easier. They didn't have to use so much energy to try and strike the balls halfway up the lawn.
Yeah.
And they just go, this is really great, thank you so much. So it's not because I play side style that I push that for people. It's a suggestion, and if they find it very easy, they go with it.
I think it's certainly been one of the great things about the recent coverage of croquet, and seeing players with different styles. So, in fact, all three of you in this competition had a different way of playing shots. It just goes to show new players that what they're doing is fine. If it feels good and they're getting satisfactory results, then they should just press on with it, because unlike a golf swing, there is sort of no standard way of doing it. That things that players have that work for them are good, and you're the proof of that. You're able to switch from one style to another effortlessly, and it's a brilliant thing for everybody to see.
Thank you.
So I think perhaps our coverage has come to an end. It's past 3 o'clock. I'm not sure that there's anything else that needs to be covered now. We're at the mercy of the producers. If there were some more highlights we could look at, we could go through that. But I'm sure you're never going to get tired of seeing that shot on Hoop 11 against Robert. So, and no matter how many times Kevin asks you, you can always say, I was aiming for the hoop, Kevin. So.
Yeah, well, as I said, it was either maybe the red or maybe an in-off situation, but that's how it worked out. So you just take it as it comes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Thanks very much, Stephen. That's fantastic.
Thank you so much, guys, and thank you for commentating from your own houses. It's been wonderful to actually go home and hear the replays and hear everyone's voices, and because we have been able to see each other for over 12 months, so it's really great. So thank you once again.
Yeah, an amazing privilege for us to be able to host this competition, isn't it? I mean, considering the desperate situation that we're all having to face at the moment with restrictions during the pandemic, the privilege of being able to play a croquet tournament is absolutely wonderful. It's very, very grateful to all of the organisers for allowing this to actually happen.
Thank you.
Okay, Greg, any advance on your audio status? No, obviously not. I can see it looks like Robbie out there on the field with a microphone. I don't know whether he's singing a song or doing a little soliloquy or something like that, but or some sort of interview. What would you speculate, Kevin, that Robbie is doing out there?
Well, if we could zoom in, maybe we could read his lips.
So, Tricia.
I was going to talk a little bit about the under-21s program in case there were some young people watching. I know that Croquet Victoria has a coordinated under-21 program which includes people from other states as well. And given that Robert is one of the younger ones that has been through, I thought you might be interested to know that there are opportunities to gain scholarships and, of course, to travel. Robert was one of the ones who went to Egypt to play in Cairo using a scholarship for golf croquet. So the game, even though the people who are playing here are not under 21s, there are a lot of young people playing, and I really encourage them to play because you can keep going until you're well into your 70s, 80s and even 90s, and you can travel. Would you agree with that, Kevin?
You can certainly travel, that's for sure.
Kevin's one of the great travellers of the game.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to semi-retire quite early, and I would have spent 3 months travelling around every year playing croquet in different states and overseas as well. And I thoroughly recommend that if you get the opportunity. So many friends in so many places.
That's right.
We've got Lester in the interview room waiting for us to chat to him, so that would be great to pop over and just congratulate him on providing us with such excellent entertainment. So if we're able to do that, I'm sure Trish and Kevin have a couple of things that they'd like to say to him. There he is. Hello, Lester.
Hey, g'day. How are you, Gareth?
Yeah, good. Thank you so much for that brilliant exhibition that you guys and you in particular have put on for us over the weekend. You had some sparkling form and came close to taking it from Robbie at the end.
Well, I'm not sure if it was close. Today it felt a bit like I was just there to be a target for Robert. But I really enjoyed it, and it's always such a thrill to play against Robert, and it's a thrill to play against Stephen, given he doesn't play much GC, so it's good to have a couple of games against him as well.
Yeah, no. I've been after that bruising in the first game against Robert today. For you to come out and take that 2-0 lead in the deciding match, we were all very, very excited about the prospects, and it was interesting though that during the game, Robert sort of turned it around, and almost in the blink of an eye, it was 6-3, and then sort of put beyond doubt at the end. But we were really thinking that things had turned around, and that you were gonna take a commanding lead in that game. This is a great moment. I gather
that one as much as you like.
Yeah, I gather that Claire is your partner. I didn't realise that. Is that true?
Yeah. I didn't expect to get bolted there by Claire, no. Yeah, that's right. That would have been a tough call, wouldn't it? So Trish, did you have anything that you wanted to ask Lester about his performance this weekend?
Actually, Lester, at one stage somebody said that you'd started to play golf croquet in your 20s, but I didn't think you'd been playing quite that long, had you?
No, I started. I started just when I turned 40, I think.
Yeah, so that's not very long.
12 years ago, yeah, something.
Yeah, so you've reached the top pretty quickly, and you're playing what you label as the international game. Lots of long clearances and long hoops, really go for broke type golf croquet, which has served you well.
Yeah. I do it for a number of reasons. One is that when you do play against the really good guys, it's pretty much the only way you might get a win. But I also do it because it's how I like to play it. That's how I enjoy the game the most. If I'm doing the more conservative sometimes, which may well be the percentage thing, I'm not going to get the same enjoyment out of the game. So it's important that you manage your enjoyment that you get from the game, and that's one way I do it, by having a crack and looking good or looking really bad sometimes.
Well, mostly it was looking good and certainly looking competitive. That was great to watch. You did some really astonishing shots, and as you know, you had some astonishing failures. But at the same time, it's your style. You go for it, and that's that.
Yeah.
And there's one on the screen now, long hoop with a opponent ball just sitting there, and you just chose to go for it. That's great to see.
Yeah, it's not so good to see the mallet twisting like that, but I'm glad it went through.
It's part of your technique, isn't it? Give a little twist.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be, but there it is.
Yeah. Well, congratulations anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there's Kevin here, Lester. I really enjoyed your game, particularly yesterday. I thought you were quite aggressive, pretty much right from the start of the tournament, and so I loved your long hoop attempts, which worked really well, and your long clearances too. So it's a pleasure watching you play. At a high level, playing Robert and Stephen, you did a great job.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I hope you noticed how bright the lines are around the court, Kevin, and commented on how straight they are.
We couldn't get the camera angles to be right to check that out, but I did hear during the presentation that they're the best ever, and they'll probably be done by the same person from now on.
No, never. Once is enough.
So Lester, I think that was very inspiring what you said about getting enjoyment from the game and also playing a style of game that gives you enjoyment. I think that a lot of times people, when they're playing in their club, they feel the need to sort of play the same sort of culturally based game that the players around them are playing, and playing your own game, and even if it isn't always successful, is likely to make you happier in the long run. So I really take that away from what we've seen this weekend about your play and what you've said about it. And I just end up by saying that we'd all like to thank you for the fantastic spectacle that you provided us with and the excitement of the weekend's competition. So with that, we're going to end the coverage now, and hopefully, Lester, you'll have a chance to go back and make your own highlights reel of all your best shots.
I thought you were going to say, I hope you can go back and practice.
No, I don't think so. No, I think putting down a reel of all the great moments, and I guess the other interesting thing is that you mentioned there that when you looked at that little hoop that you ran before, and you said, "Oh dear, I'm a bit worried about that twist in the mallet head." We croquet players often don't have the luxury of seeing things that we do on television. And unlike a lot of other sports, we don't have that opportunity to reflect, go back and analyze things in that way. So it's going to be interesting, isn't it, moving forward in the future as croquet is hopefully more and more on the TV, and we get that sense of how we're playing our shots, how they're seen on the big screen. So
absolutely. And I think
that should be interesting.
When you get the opportunity to watch yourself, you can certainly learn from that and make some adjustments and move ahead in a different direction if you think it's necessary.
Yeah. Well, it actually turns out that Robert is keen to have a chat, so we're not going to stop the coverage there. We're going to invite Robert into the interview room, and thanks very much again, Lester.
Yeah, and thank you guys for your commentary and all your effort. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, indeed. It is very, very fitting that we get the chance to chat to Robert. And I'm sure that Trish and Kevin have got many congratulations for their local hero. We heard earlier about how we all take great delight in just seeing Robert play, and particularly for the Victorians, of course, because Robert is a very key member of their success over the years. So while Robert's getting settled in, Kevin, what sort of highlights from here would you take from Robert's performance?
Well, the big one for me is just how he manages to steel himself and steal the game. I mean, the game against Leicester this morning, it was if he felt like God, and he there's a hoop in front of him, and it was wide enough for the ball to go through, and it just went straight ahead.
I know, it was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, Robert, hello. Many congratulations.
Hey, Kevin.
I seem to make a habit of interviewing you after you've won a competition these days. So hopefully it's a tradition that will continue.
I hope so. I hope to.
Yeah.
Too.
A dramatic way to win the competition. You had two, for you, relatively straightforward goes at that final hoop. And then suddenly you think, oh, I'll go from what? I mean, it must have been at least 12 yards away.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. It's probably would have been 17 yards, I think. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't measure it beforehand, but yeah, it was definitely.
Well, certainly it was, here it is. Yeah, that looks like a good distance. And there was never any doubt in your mind here. Whack.
Yeah, well, it wasn't exactly strategically sound, but I was well up and I was in front, and despite the last two attempts, I was shooting relatively well. So plus there was a good shot for the camera, so I thought, go for it.
Yes, well, I think you've got to take that into consideration these days. You need to think of what's good for the viewers as well. But Kevin was remarking that there wasn't really many other options for you for where you could put the yellow ball, so you might as well have a go, and it's turned out really beautifully. Yeah,
I could have just taken position and I'd be on the short boundary, Leicester, and black nearby, and would just been putting into the short boundary. So there were more sound approaches, but this one wasn't too bad though. It wasn't too insane.
Yeah. So Tricia, did you had a question for Robbie?
Oh, I wanted to ask you, Robert, Trish here. You're a member at Canberra now, aren't you? You've been playing in Canberra?
I was, but I've since moved, and I'm back in Geelong at the Belmont Croquet Club.
Oh gosh, I can't keep up with you. So when you've been in Canberra, you were able to play. You weren't troubled like Victorians. None of us have been playing.
Yeah, but I've been back since June, late June. So I haven't played for a few months. But prior to that, we were able to play. Pretty much no hassle up to kind of May. Yeah, but now there are. I think, with the lockdowns and everything in the ACT, people aren't able to play.
So did you say you're at Geelong? So you're a member at Belmont?
I am, yes.
So you're there with Stephen?
Indeed, yes. Stephen's stomping grounds.
So that should be really good for the club, having the two of you there, and for you to have Stephen to play with and against, but in particularly in AC. I keep pushing that. I don't want Stephen going over onto the dark side, really.
I might be hooked now. And I mean, unfortunately, his
he's not too bad at it either, as I found out this morning.
Yes, well, I do remember when Alex won the World Championship, she explained that the Egyptians complained that she didn't play the game properly, and she just said, if I can see a hoop, I'm going to go for it, and if you're in front of it, I'm going to hit you.
Yeah, I mean, leaves clarity for clarity of mind when you've got a kind of if you've decided your strategy beforehand and just left it up to whatever you can see you're going to either run or clear away. So there's some benefit to that.
Well, it's pretty basic. If you've got the skills to do it, then why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you need to have some pretty decent skills to employ that sort of strategy. And Alex is obviously a very straight shooter. So yeah.
And so are you.
Yeah, but that's not my gameplay, though. That's not my strategy. Well, I don't think it is.
Well,
maybe you guys can tell me different.
Well, Gareth might have an opinion on that one, but I was just enjoying the fact that if you fired at something, more often than not you hit it, and if you went for a hoop, more often than not you went through it. Except, of course, those last two.
It's two of the last three. Yeah, it's the last one's the only one I've got in my mind, Trish. Yeah, everything else is dead to me.
Yeah, that was a beauty. Well done.
Thank you.
Over to you, Gareth.
Well, I was going to say that even though the showpiece was that very last hoop, actually some of the ones that you made from very tight angles were almost disobeying the rules of physics, and it's just incredible. Is there a particular technique that you use when you're faced with those really acute angles?
Well, in terms of evaluating whether I can run it or not, not really. It's not very scientific. I've just, I don't know, I guess playing as a kid, it just picked up, when I can run a hoop and when I can't, in terms of when it comes to technique. Execution, though, sometimes, pace has a lot to do with it. Sometimes you can just belt the cover off it, and that's going to be advantageous depending on how the hoops are in the ground. And other times you really need to be hitting kind of gently or medium pace on angle. So one thing that can be helpful too is if you're on a boundary hoop and you can use essentially the go corner to middle of b-ball, can kind of use that as a bit of a range for what you've kind of practiced on, and then you know what's kind of physically what your physical limitations are or not.
Yeah, no. So some of the angles just looked absolutely impossible, and yet you made it look easy. It's a real inspiration to all the players watching, and hopefully inspiration to people to take up the game as well. So thanks very much, Robert, for all the pleasure you've given us over this weekend, and we're really looking forward to the croquet season getting back into full swing when life returns to normal and we can see you even more regularly on the lawns. So thanks once again from all of us at the commentary team and all the viewers as well.
Thanks, Gareth. Thanks very much, guys, for all the commentary, and had a great time out there. So it was just a pleasure to be playing again. All
right. Okay. Well, that ends our coverage from the Owen Edwards GC Challenge. Hope you've all enjoyed this weekend of international class croquet. So that's me, Gareth Denyer, and my commentary team of Kevin Beard and Trish Devlin signing off and wishing you all the best. Goodbye.
Thank you.